Dun, 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 dun. Here I am. It's Wednesday night and I'm in the Community Sports Show studio once again for the Lacrosse WA Midweek show. Good to have you with us wherever you are. You're here with me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston, coming to you live from the studio. And you'll notice I've got a little happy birthday balloon here. Just want to give a shout out to Chris White. He couldn't join me tonight. He's at the under 20s Australian training, I believe, with someone there, hopefully not getting too wet. But it was Chris's birthday on Sunday, so happy birthday to you, Chris. 21 for the 45th time as we let that go up for now. You're here with me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston, as I said, for the Lacrosse WA Midweek show, coming to you live on YouTube. We're changing things up and I can see a few people jumping online already, so a big welcome to you wherever you are across the globe. We couldn't do all of this without our sponsors and our platinum sponsors for the current season. ID Athletic, for all your sporting apparel and club merchandise needs. ID Athletic can help you and your club build your identity with a great range of apparel and sporting merchandise, as we always give it away, proudly supported by ID Athletic. And Vision Decor, for your blinds, curtains, awnings and even hybrid flooring needs. Talk to Mike and Liz Rash at Vision Decor out there in Malaga. Great products, great prices, great people, and we use them, so we put our property, our trust in those that sponsor us, and we encourage you to get behind them as well. Good to have you with us. Okay, I am solo, so we'll soldier on throughout the night. I first of all want to acknowledge a thank you to everyone who joined us on YouTube last week for the Sixers. It was a great competition. We'll have a bit of a chat about that during our half-time break. There were a couple of people in the commentary van with me last Wednesday night for the broadcast. A big thanks to Shendell and Frenchie for jumping in there and helping out with the Sixers commentary. That was just absolutely, if you haven't had a chance, check out the video. It is high-octane action from start to end. Couple of more shout-outs before we get into the scores from last week and start to have a look at what's happening with the women as they head into their finals in the coming, couple of grand finals this week and grand finals next week, so the women well underway. But first of all, speaking of women, congratulations to Holly Plummer on her promotion into the Australian under-20 women's lacrosse team, and congratulations, a special congratulations go out to Oshia Levy, named as one of the vice captains for that team, along with Trinity Meacham and Meg Bone, the skipper. Congratulations to them all. Alright, that competition kicks off in just a couple of weeks' time over there in Hong Kong, Game 1 up against New Zealand. Also in the Australian pool, Italy, Mexico and Scotland. So we should have a good account of ourselves and be on track, and I look forward to seeing some of the vision and pictures from over there in Hong Kong. As always, the information I put out there is as good as the information that's put into the system, so we won't mention every single goal, and we've changed it up just a little bit this week. But we look forward to your comments. If you've got something to share, please drop it in the comments there and let the world see it. If I get something wrong, if I mispronounce your name, my apologies. I give it a crack, and I think I'm not bad with most of them there. Alright, let's go. Under 11s, they've got a couple of weeks left, 3 weeks in fact. All of us have got 3 weeks left, including this weekend and the under 11s last week up there at Leatherback in Alkimos. Wanneroo Joondalup 11 defeating Bayswater 2 while Wembley Green with 10 took the win over Phoenix 0. It wasn't a forfeit. I did double check. There were goal scorers listed. Wembley Gold 11 defeated Alkmaar 6. Speaking of the Pirates there. And in the final under-11s match last week, it was an East Fremantle derby. The Bulls up against the Sharks, and it was the Bulls getting up by 8 goals to... I've got 0 there. Well, we'll go with that unless I'm told otherwise. Okay, as I mentioned, 3 weeks left this weekend. The under-11s down there at Halliday Park. East Fremantle Bulls taking on Wanneroo Joondalup. Alkmaar taking on Wembley Green. Phoenix up against Wembley Gold, while Bayswater take on the East Fremantle Sharks. Dun, 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 dun. Dare to wonder if ever East Fremantle Sharks, as in the Waffle team, will get back onto East Fremantle Oval. A few challenges there at the moment. Hopefully we get on this year, but I can't see it happening myself, so fingers crossed, and toes and I can't cross my eyes. Alright, the under-13s. They have got a couple of weeks to go as well, and last week we saw Phoenix Subiaco with 9 get up over Wembley by just 1 goal. Wembley with 8 there. Alkmaar going down to East Fremantle 2 goals to 18. While Wanneroo Joondalup had a big day out. They got up over Bayswater 25 goals to 6. And some of the standout performances across the 13s, I did have a look. We saw Tim Gould with 7 goals for Wanneroo Joondalup, while Xander Levy had 7 assists. Great effort there, Xander. While Moses Williams chipped in with 5 goals to be the next highest scorer. He got those for Phoenix. Well done. Second last round of the season for the under-13s sees Wembley taking on East Fremantle, Bayswater taking on Wanneroo Joondalup, while Alkmaar take on Phoenix Subiaco. And looking at the ladder there, realistically, unfortunately, Alkmaar, your season is probably done in the 13s. I will say it is done. Mathematically impossible. However, Wembley and Bayswater currently battling it out for 4. So a couple of big matches there. Wembley up against East Fremantle, who have been in some good form, while Bayswater taking on a strong Wanneroo Joondalup side as well. So big results for both teams if they can get them this week. But only time will tell. Alright, the under-14 women. Big shout out before we go. Wanneroo Joondalup, congratulations with us doing the Sixers last week on Wednesday. We didn't get a chance to acknowledge the minor premiers, but congratulations to Wanneroo Joondalup taking out the under-14 minor premiership there. Semi-finals were held on, and we'll catch up because we've had a couple of weeks of finals in the women's competition. Semi-finals were back on the 21st of July, and we saw Wanneroo Joondalup 13 get up over Bayswater with 12 in a close fought match there. Elizabeth Hogg and Jem Jobson with 5 goals each respectively for their sides. While Wembley with 13 got up in another thriller, both games coming down to just 1 goal. Wembley 13 defeating East Fremantle 12 with a 7-goal last quarter blitz. It was Remy Twite with 8. If you don't mind, Remy, that is very good performance out of 13, getting 8 and 7 in the last quarter to get up over East Fremantle. Sorry, mind blank there for a moment. Well, Pierre Johnson, he top scored for East Fremantle with 6. In the prelim final last week, unfortunately, that result from the semi-Cs saw East Fremantle drop out this last week in the prelim final. Bayswater up against Wembley, and it was Bayswater getting up by 4 goals, 14 goals to 10. And Jem Jobson backing up her good performance with 5 the week before with a little extra, getting 6, while Remy Twite again in the goal scoring there with Addison Shaw, both with 4 goals. That means after the prelim final, it was of course Wanneroo Joondalup going straight through after their win against Bayswater in the semi-final. They take on Bayswater this weekend, and both sides in some good form there. Bayswater with Jem Jobson, while Wanneroo Joondalup, Elizabeth Hogg and the team up there really on fire throughout the season. They should be hard to beat, but it is at Bayswater at Halliday, so home ground advantage, time will tell. And if I have to do tips, do I have to do tips? I don't want to do tips. You have to go on, well, see, Wanneroo Joondalup have had a week off, while Bayswater have played a couple of close games there and been in some good form across both with 26 goals in a couple of weeks. So, tough one. It's going to come down to a couple of goals, and I'm going to go for home ground advantage for Bayswater to get the win there. Sorry, Wanneroo. Top 4, we had some announcements from Lacrosse WA during the week. Congratulations to the people named in the Association Fairest and Best top 4, or in some cases it's top 5, but for the ladies it's top 4 ahead of the association wind-up. Elizabeth Hogg of Wanneroo Joondalup, Jem Jobson of Bayswater. Well, we just mentioned both of those young ladies there. Karenza Noddle of Wembley is in that list, while Farah Panty is also in there for Phoenix. So congratulations to the top 4 nominees for the Fairest and Best in the under-14s. Looking at the goal scoring, of course, I'm not sure whether they've been updated for finals, but I believe so. And Cleona Allers continues to lead. She's got a 4-goal advantage over Elizabeth Hogg, leading 55 to 51, while Jem Jobson has moved up the ladder. She's on 49, so interesting. Elizabeth, all 3 of those ladies actually in the grand final this weekend, so still anyone's to take that trophy. And I've got a little note to myself there. It says list the women's under 15s teams if released. I haven't seen them, so I'm not sure if they've been released. If they have, please let me know, and we'll give a shout out to those people separately. Okay, under 15s. We might be doing the under 15s this weekend. Yet to be confirmed. We'll talk about that a little later in the show. But last week we saw Subiaco Phoenix have a 5-all draw in a close match. Well, can't get any closer. In a low-scoring match against Wembley. Bayswater beat Wanneroo Joondalup Blue 14 to 8. Will Frensham, oh gosh, he's been in some good form lately. He put away another 8. I can do 2 lots of 4s for that. Well done there. And Ashchinsky chipping in with 4. So those 2 in a real titanic battle. East Fremantle, they got up by 2 over Wanneroo Joondalup Red. Final score there, 12-10. Jack McCracken also up there on a regular basis and having a good season. And I'll just double check, but that is in fact 9. So 5 and 4. Well done, Jack McCracken. Fantastic bag of 9 last weekend for Wanneroo Joondalup. Out of 12, so very impressive. Out of 10, I should say. 9 out of 10, Jack. That deserves recognition. All right, the ladder for the under-15s is these sides tried to jockey for places. ahead of the final starting in a couple of weeks' time. Bayswater have 11 wins, 2 losses and 1 draw. They sit first. Wembley in second with 10, 3 and 1, so just the 1 win behind them there, Wembley. Wanneroo Joondalup Blue in third with 7 wins. Phoenix, or Subiaco Phoenix, take fourth with 5 wins at the moment. Wanneroo Joondalup Red, they're just 1 behind, so Subiaco Phoenix and Wanneroo Joondalup Red battling it out for 4th place here, while East Fremantle, with just the 2 wins, they'll see out the season but be out of the finals contention. It is the last, according to my notes at least, it is the last of the under-15 men's competitions this weekend, and it sees Wembley up against East Fremantle, Bayswater taking on Subiaco Phoenix, and Wanneroo Joondalup Red taking on Wanneroo Joondalup Blue. So no match fixing there, Warriors coaches. I say that with a cheeky smile, of course, with Wanneroo Joondalup Red battling it out with Subiaco Phoenix for 4th place there. Let's have a look. Subiaco Phoenix, they've got a tough one, so you'd imagine Bayswater will get up there, and if Wanneroo Joondalup Red can get up over the blue side there, that'll actually just give them 2 points extra, because they've got the draw, and that will put them into the finals. So as we see a couple of matches there with finals implications in the 15s. Big shout out, I can see a few of you online now. Thanks for joining me as we try out YouTube. Just feels like it's a lot cleaner, a lot neater, and it is certainly coming across as a lot easier for us to upload. So this might be the way of the future. Spread the word and help us get our YouTube channel out there as we try and grow in different ways, so that you can access us in more easier ways. People say, no, do YouTube, we can bring you up on the tally. Well, big shout out to you all at home, wherever you are across the globe. Good to have you with us. Well, speaking of Will Frensham, I said he's going well. His stats show exactly that. He currently leads the goal scorers with 98. That's a superb effort. But Jack McCracken, courtesy of his 9, he's only 3 behind on 95. If you don't mind, that's 193 goals between them for the season. So that, if there's any recruiters out there, is something to watch. Ashchinsky, he chipped in to 3rd place, but he's a long way behind, nearly 30 goals off, with 58 in 3rd place. Still a good season, still an outstanding season. Well, not looking to write that off in any way, shape or form, and a big shout out to the Chinsky family, who I know are big supporters of ours. I'm just going to lean in and play with my phone for 2 seconds, just because I want to double check that life is good, and life is always good. It should be the best day of your life, no matter what day it is, and I can actually see it. It gives me a smile that there are people watching, so I can't actually see any comments, but that's okay. You're there, and it's good to have you with us. Okay, let's keep barreling on by having a look at the under-15 boys teams that were announced during the week by Lacrosse WA for the under-15 tournament being held in Adelaide at Glenelg Lacrosse Club at the end of September. Congratulations to the coaches. We gave them a shout out before, but the draft or selections were wound up on Sunday. Big discussions there. Unnamed sources tell me it went on late into the afternoon, and the teams were announced, so congratulations. And this will just sound like a long list of names, but I'm going to do it. For the Braves, coaches Henry Simmons and Colin Bros big shout out to you both. Their team is Tristan Elgar, Ash Chinsky, Tim Gould, EJ Rule, Will Hogg, Zach Cadow. We've got Harper Kieran, Liam Lawrence, Riley Lee, while Lucas Mashler, Jack McCracken, Ben Mason, Kian Mulcahy, or Kyan, either way there, Kyan, EJ Payne, Finlay Pine, Max Headley Weston, and rounding out the Braves, it is Blake Sargent. Brave by name, I'm sure they'll be brave by nature as well. Okay, the Thunder, coached by Ben Rieger, and hot off the press this afternoon, I've heard that Craig Allen has stepped up into the assistant coach role there to help Ben out, so great to see Craig a big contributor, as are Henry and Colin, and of course Ben, but big shout out to Craig. I know he does a lot of work and certainly helps our connection with lacrosse, and in particular the Wembley Lacrosse Club, so best of luck to both these sides. For the Thunder, the team is Charlie Bugg, Ryan Daniel, and I wonder if he's any relation to Lockie, Will Frensham getting reward for his big season, Jet Hall, Oliver Johnson, Kian Laidley, Cade Lakin is in there, big shout out to Sam, Nathan Lance, Xander Levy, Carter Mace, as well as Hayden Nesbitt, Charles Newman, Jackson Newsom, Caleb Rieger, Tom Warren. He's been doing really well with the assists, so he'll be a valuable asset there, along with Cooper Rieger-Livich and Magnus Waring-Smith rounding out the Thunder. And there's going to be plenty around in Perth tonight, so if you're in the Perth metropolitan or greater southwest of WA, buckle down because the storm is coming. And it's already blowing here in the back of the studio. You won't need to blow hard though to get great deals thanks to our sponsors. ID Athletic and Vision Decor, our platinum sponsors, have been with us for a couple of years now, and we appreciate their support. ID Athletic for your sporting apparel and club merchandise, while Vision Decor can help out with all your curtain, blind and awning needs, or even hybrid flooring. As well as those two, we appreciate the support of Ashby Farrell, Wide Arch and Barner Construction, and most recently with the support we've had from Nathan of Nathan's Event Hire, enabling us to do this sort of stuff and actually have a clear picture and a almost timely upload, so thanks to Nathan of Nathan's Event Hire. Alright, let's have a look at the under 17 women, and a big shout out to Bayswater. They are the minor premiers, but let's have a look at what's happened in the finals over the last few weeks. A big shout out, I should give a shout out here to Tammy. I was asked during the week whether I'll be filming the junior women's finals, because it is in fact the grand finals this weekend for the 14s and 17s. Unfortunately, I cannot. So if there's anyone out there that would like to actually jump on your own camera and stream, maybe even commentate, impartially I say with a cheeky smile, then we might be able to add you to our team of, or to our show's team. I'll get the sentence right in a second. And you could actually stream on our behalf and put the 17s out there. So if anyone's keen and available and interested, please reach out and have a chat. But to get to the grand final, we had to go through the finals, and let's have a look at what happened in the semi-finals a couple of weeks ago now. Bayswater getting up over Wembley, 18 goals to 6. They went straight through into the grand final. It was 15 goals to 4 at three-quarter time, so a good last quarter there by Wembley, but Bayswater, gosh, they've been in some good form. Addison Reardon with 7, while Talia Edwards had 3 for Wembley. Wanneroo Joondalup took on East Fremantle in the second semi-final there, and we saw Wanneroo Joondalup get up by 3 goals, 10 goals to 7 over the Blues. But Isla Emerson top scored. She had 6 for East Fremantle out of the 7, so fantastic effort there by Isla. And still looking forward to catching up and finding out a little bit more about the Isla Emerson story, and that's a great performance there, 6 out of 7 goals. Isla Allison and Shayani Tawney had 3 each for Wanneroo Joondalup, and I'll just have a little drink so I'm less croaky. Well, semi-finals saw East Fremantle out and Wanneroo Joondalup having to take on Wembley in the preliminary final, and it was Wembley getting up by just the smallest of margins, 11 goals to 10 in favour of the team in green, and they are over this shoulder there, thanks to Craig Allen for his old training shirt. Doesn't look like it's ever got dirty, but that's okay. The gesture is great, and so is the support he gives. Alright, the prelim final, as I mentioned, just 1 goal in it, and Wembley getting up. It was Madison Carroll with 3 for Wembley, while Siobhan Simmons came in with a bag of 5 for Wanneroo Joondalup. So half the score there, Siobhan. I know you've had a good last few months, and I've seen your name across the score lines throughout the season, so congratulations on a good performance there. However, the grand final this weekend for the under-17 women sees Bayswater taking on Wembley. That game at 11 o'clock at Halliday Park in Bayswater, following on from the under-14s, and it is not being streamed, so the only way to see it will be down there to see it live yourself. Goal scorers, and then we'll have a look at the top 4 in the under-17. The top goal scorers, Addison Reardon had 47 for the regular season, while Corey Rainey finished on 41. And again, I'm not completely sure that they've been updated for the finals, but congratulations, Addison. Great performance. I know you're always keen and enthusiastic about your lacrosse, so great reward for effort. Okay, the top 4 for the under-17 women, as I mentioned, the Lacrosse WA Association Fairest and Best Awards coming up later in the season, and with the women's season all but done until this Sunday, they did announce the top 4, and in no particular order, the 17's top 4 are Sophia Birighetti of Wembley, Nikki Carson, well, I just gave her a shout out, of Bayswater, she's had a big season. Claire Lawrence has flown under the radar there, Claire. Haven't seen your name up there, but obviously doing some great work in amongst that Wanneroo Joondalup side. And Freya Pine of Phoenix in a side that didn't quite make it through to the finals. Good performance to be in the top 4 there, Freya, and good reward and recognition for the work being done by Phoenix with their women. They are starting to come up and about, and we'll talk about that in just a little moment. First though, we'll have a look at the under-17 men's competition. They've still got a few weeks to go as well. Last week we saw Phoenix Subiaco go down to East Fremantle 11 goals to 3. Tom Warren, the leading goal scorer, with 3 for East Fremantle, and then you could throw a blanket across the rest. While in the second game, Wanneroo Joondalup 11 got up over Wembley 6. Tom Mashler netted 4 for Wanneroo Joondalup. Alexander Mitchell-Lewis, I should know that name, Alexander Mitchell-Lewis, he had 3 for Wembley in those results. And the 17 men still continuing their season. So this week, the last round for the 17 men. We'll have a look at the ladder, because these Fremantle, they sit on top, 12 wins and 2 losses. They will take first place. Wembley sits second with 8 wins. Wanneroo Joondalup will finish third with 6 wins, 7 losses and 1 draw there, while Phoenix Subiaco will take fourth with just the 1 win. That match up against Wembley down in round 13. And there are only 4 sides, so these teams have played each other throughout the season. They know what each other's skills are like. They know what each other play like. So I expect there to be plenty of action in the under-17 men's finals, as we'll see a bit of that over the coming weeks now that we've got permission from the Bayswater City Council to be on Halliday Park for the finals. We're looking forward to them, and we are looking forward to the women's grand finals next weekend, the Division 2 and State League. We'll talk about those just shortly. But first of all, this week for the under-17 men, Wembley up against East Fremantle. That is a top-of-the-table clash, a bit of an opportunity for Wembley to stamp some more authority here if they get a chance, while Wanneroo Joondalup take on Phoenix Subiaco in that match. And neither of those sides will change positions, so a bit of pride is what's on the line in that game for the under-17 men's competition. Best of luck to everyone. I'm not going to tip, although East Fremantle and Bayswater both having big seasons, so I'm going to at least suggest one of those will be in the final, and it's really up to Wanneroo Joondalup to have a good performance against Phoenix Subiaco. If you blow the whistle, it's half time. Speaking of blowing the whistle, as I shuffle back and get comfy here for half time, what a day it's been, what a week it's been. But every day should be the best day of your life, and it's definitely the best day of our life here in the studio as we celebrate half time. We will start by giving a congratulations to all of those players who were presented with their Australian blazers. And now, that was last Friday. Congratulations to everyone. Looked like a great night out, and I saw lots of photos shared, lots of proud moments, and that's what sport's all about. Having a bit of pride, passing it on from one family member to the other, and good to see everyone getting out and celebrating our Australian representatives as well. I know Victoria and South Australian sides also doing their bit to get their national representatives up. Congratulations to you all. As I try and discreetly slide my finger under that piece of paper. But first, let's have a look at the Sixers. If you did not get a chance, I mentioned it at the top of the show. We covered the Sixers last Wednesday night. First of all, I've got to give a thanks to Shendell and Frenchie for their support and doing a great job with commentary, and also to Nathan of Nathan's Event Hire for making the trek down to Phoenix to make sure that everything ran smoothly, and it certainly did for us. And it was the women up first, and both sides, the Great Whites and the Eagles, taking on the challenge. But it was to be the Eagles to go through undefeated in the women's competition, getting up over the Great Whites by 5 goals, 17 goals to 12 in the end. And I have to tell you, viewers, I'm not going to say I'm getting old, but gosh, golly gee, even Shendell, and she's 30 years my junior, could not keep up with the goal scorers. So high-paced, high-octane. Ash Hiron, she was a running machine backwards and forwards. between the goals. A shorter field, skinnier field, and if you're new to sixes, basically every time there's a goal, the goalkeeper has 10 seconds to get it back over the half line, and then there's 30 seconds shot clock, so 10 of that is to get it over the half, and then it's all attack. So a really big effort by the goalkeepers to do the job they did. The women enjoying the best of the weather last Wednesday night. Men certainly got stiffed in that department. Bailey Rose Keenan was also one of the stronger performers on the night. Congratulations to Gavin Levy and the Eagles on their win in last week's Sixers. I look forward to seeing more of that competition over the course of the coming years. Of course, lacrosse going into the Olympics. I've got, discreetly hide there, I've got the Olympic jumper there. The Olympics on at the moment, and lacrosse joining the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028. And the format will be sixes, so if you've got rugby on your mind, then as the Springboks there and the Wallabies over here take part, or their representatives have taken part in the sevens, sixes is similar. Fast, focused on attacking, and it's the way of the future. It's the T20 format for lacrosse, and not sure how we get it on a more regular basis, but certainly I hope that we can build it into the fixtures for 2025. Maybe a pre-season competition, maybe, and I'll just put this out there, maybe a Thursday night or a Wednesday or Thursday night competition that runs for a few weeks in conjunction with the regular season. Who knows, but let's hope it takes off. If you haven't already, get involved in lacrosse and get involved in sixes, and you could be representing our great country over in Los Angeles in 4 years' time, and taking it up to all the Americans and Canadians who think they're the best. Well, Australia's up there too, and we'll show that on the world stage. Alright, the men's sixes, it was a repeat of the two teams, the Great Whites up against the Eagles. The Eagles going straight through. Alex Brown and the team, a very good performance there. Josiah Bidwell Barton in the goals, very good indeed. Cam Evangelo was good in front of the goals. Griffin Cook was out and amongst it there as well. Max Sadka had a few shots. It was just, again, high octane, high pressure, and I'd take my hat off to everyone involved in that organisation. Thanks to Frenchie for commentating. His side, the Duggites, didn't quite make it, but the final scoreline saw the Eagles 16 defeating the Great Whites 11. So the Eagles taking out the inaugural sixes in both the men's and women's competitions. Congratulations to them and everyone involved in those teams throughout the competition. There was a Rising Stars, a couple of Rising Stars matches out on the back oval as well. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the scores there, so if you've got a scoreline, please let us know and we'll update this information as it comes to hand, or you can jump in and drop a comment there and let us know what we missed. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, that's half time over. Juniors are done. Time to look at the grown-ups. And we'll kick it off with the women. We'll do both women, and then we'll do the three men before we have a look at what's happening over east. The Division 2 women. Congratulations to Bayswater again. They took out the minor premiership, their second in the women's competition. Well done there. In the semi-finals, we saw Bayswater 10 defeat Wanneroo Joondalup 9 in a nail-biter game there. Caitlin Ziegler-Getty, my unnamed sources suggest, getting the winning goal. and two more to go with it, so a big bag of three for Caitlin in the semi-final there. Megan Shanks, as always, a workhorse for Wanneroo Joondalup. She had four, while Jamison May chipped in with a three. And in the second semi-final, Wembley. A big shout out to Chandel here. Wembley 13 defeating Subiaco 2. And I say that because I'm hoping she'll not be coaching, but of course she's hoping she will be playing and coaching. Okay, let's have a look at the goal scorers here in this match. Amy Bowman, Sophia Moore and Steph Allen all chipped in with three for Wembley, while Lizzie Mitchell had both of the two goals for Subiaco. Well done, Lizzie. And a good performance there by Wembley. Preliminary final is this weekend. Next weekend we see the grand finals, but it's the preliminary final for the Women's Division 2 this weekend, and it's Wanneroo Joondalup taking on Wembley at 1 o'clock on Sunday at Bayswater to see who takes on Bayswater in the grand final next weekend. Am I going to make a tip on this one? I know that Bayswater have been strong. However, oh dear, I don't know. I've seen a lot of Megan Shanks' work. If Wembley can put it together as a team, they've got the chance, but I'm going to go Wanneroo Joondalup for this one. Put my neck on the... Oh, I shouldn't do that. Put my neck on the line. The winner to take on Bayswater, and I will figure out my tips for that one next week. And hopefully Harrison Parker, who was due to replace Chris White, but he's at home looking after unwell family members, and of course, as I'm learning, we have to look after ourselves and those around us. So Has looking out for you next week, and hopefully see you here in the studio. Just giving you notice, we will be doing tips. Top four for the Division 2 women sees Nikki Carson of Bayswater, Olivia Hall of Wembley, Michaela Johns of Subiaco, and Ali Marlowe of Wanneroo Joondalup getting the gongs from the association there for the top four ahead of the association wind-up at a date yet to be determined, or at least announced. If you know, let me know. Okay, I said State League women to follow, and then I nearly passed that piece of paper over to the collection. Let's have a look at the Women's State League. And we've not been there for a couple of weeks, but we have seen, and we mentioned during the broadcast on Wednesday night in the Women's Sixes, that Subiaco took out the minor premiership after getting up over East Fremantle in the final match of the season, then ironically going down to East Fremantle in the opening semi-final. But congratulations to the team, Kate Churchwood and the team out there at Subiaco on taking out the minor premiership. Let's have a look at the semi-finals though. I mentioned Subiaco going down. They went down to East Fremantle by 10 goals to 12. Shannon Mitchell, she's had a good season. Posey O'Keefe and Tegan Brown, all with 4 goals for their teams. Posey and Tegan, unfortunately, combining to outnumber Shannon. Erin Mitchell chipped in with 3, a good performance there, and a shout out to Georgia Portlock, who got her blazered last week as well. She jumped in with 2. While Amelia Spear, Emma Green, Kate Hooper, now I've just written Wills, I'm going to say Olivia Wills and Jess Kennedy, all with singles for the East Fremantle side there, or all for that match I should say. Okay, preliminary final is on this weekend, Sunday. It is a match between Subiaco and Phoenix, and here I just want to acknowledge this is actually a inside unnamed source. I've heard and seen out there. Congratulations to Phoenix after getting up in the semi-final there and through the prelim, because they're having a great season, and I believe that it might be Phoenix's first time up there for a few years. Their men made it last year, didn't quite have the same success this year, fellas, but still chipping away. But congratulations to the Phoenix women's side on a good season. All potentially capped off this weekend. We've seen these two sides go head to head before, Phoenix and Subiaco, and really it will come down to the assists and the setups, because both sides very evenly matched, and the younger legs of oh no, don't go there, Noel. Stop. And there is one of the laughs I talk about. I'll stop myself there. That's a life lesson. You don't get to 60 and not learn that stuff. Okay, Subiaco versus Phoenix in the prelim final this weekend. Look, reality is, with the Mitchell sisters, with Emma Green, Kate Hooper in the side there at Subiaco, they really should get the win. However, the loss in that semi-final, I think, was just a glitch. They got up over East Fremantle. They're in there last year. They'll want to be in amongst it again this season. So I'm sorry, Phoenix, but I'm going to tip Subiaco to take out the preliminary final this weekend to see who will take on East Fremantle. Now, both the Division 2 and the Women's State League finals are on next weekend. But please note, please note, the Division 2 and Women's State League Grand Finals next weekend will be played at Bayswater on Saturday. That is correct. The Division 2 and Women's State League, after playing all season on Sunday, will be playing their grand finals on Saturday, and we'll be there to stream that. And subject to results, Shandell Oliver will be in the van for at least one, maybe hopefully two, but she's hoping just the one. Okay, that State League Grand Final will be on, according to the LWA website, at 3:30, the Division 2 at 1 o'clock. So be sure to join us for that. Plenty to get through until then. The top four for the Women's State League, again, fairest and best awards. They're in no particular order, but congratulations to the top four State League Women's nominees for this year's award. Ash Hiron of Phoenix, I mentioned her with the Sixers, she's been up and about. Bailey Rose Keenan also got a mention, but she's also been up and about in the regular season for Wanneroo Joondalup. Shannon Mitchell for Subiaco has been a prolific goal scorer and is reliable through that midfield and really can set it up, so a good reward for effort there to Shannon. And exactly the same description could be applied to Posey O'Keefe of East Fremantle, who rounds out that top four for the Women's State League this year. And I'm smiling simply because I looked to my left at the clock and it says 7:41, but in reality it's 7:50. So we'll get into the men now. I can talk, and I can talk alone, I can talk with a friend. If you'd like to be in the studio here next to me and saying g'day and sharing your story with everyone out there, I'd love to hear from you. As Parker will be in here next week, but we've got some matches to get through this weekend, and you're welcome to join us in the broadcast van for those if you're interested. Okay, let's get into the men's competition now. Division 3, it was a weekend for the visitors. All three visiting sides getting up last weekend in the Division 3. Wanneroo Joondalup going down to Wembley 6-10. Paul Pumba Pemba had 3 for Wanneroo Joondalup in the losing side there, while Disco Dave Bullen and John Rose JR both had 3 each for Wembley. Phoenix with 5 went down to Bayswater, and that score there, 8, Bayswater getting up, and a big day out for the Baysy boys last weekend. Well done to everyone involved down there. You still need a team name. The Bridges, the Badgers. I don't think you want to be called the Beavers, but I'll put that out there. Pick a B name, Bayswater Bears. Either way, Phoenix went down to Bayswater 5-8. John Kelly and Cam Blair, the veterans for Bayswater, had doubles, while Rob Morris, also a veteran for Bayswater on this occasion, he had 3. JK and Cam with 2 for Phoenix. A shout out to Julian McGrath. I should get the... Hang on, let's try and coordinate that. This one's for you there, Macca. Julian McGrath celebrating his birthday last week as well, so weekend of birthdays. Go Leo, go Leo. In the final match of the men's D3 last weekend, we saw Alkimos with 4 goals go down to East Fremantle with 8. The juggernaut continues there for the Blues. Josh Koss had 2 for the Pirates, while Tim Lorien netted 5 for East Fremantle. East Fremantle, well, the juggernaut, it really is absolutely appropriate description. They remain undefeated on 13 wins, and they will take out the minor premiership, no doubt about that. They're 3 games clear with not that many games left. Wembley sits second with 10. Wanneroo Joondalup on 6 wins, while Bayswater with 4. They lead Alkimos courtesy of 1 drawn match, to just 2 points in it. Both teams with 4 wins, but Bayswater with the drawn match actually just ahead. Phoenix will not be taking part this week, but for the remainder of the final series at least, as I shuffle my legs. Luke Grootveld and Sean Kennedy both have 30 goals on the LWA website, while Stephen Smythe shows as having 27 for Wembley. So close low goal scoring competition when you look at Will Frensham and Jack McCracken and Ash Chinsky up there in the 15s and 17s, but never mind. Luke Grootveld and Sean Kennedy with 30. The future is bright. Stephen Smythe on 27. This week is the second last round of the competition for all 3 men's grades. Wembley taking on East Fremantle in a top of the table match of the round. Bayswater taking on Wanneroo Joondalup. It's as simple as this, Bayswater. If you win, you'll hold 4th place. Alkimos taking on Phoenix, and Alkimos will be probably expecting to get the win there. Phoenix with the chance to upset the apple cart for the Pirates, and who knows, sport. She's a funny old game. Next week, Bayswater will play Alkimos for 4th place regardless of those results. However, as I said, a win for Bayswater this weekend up against Wanneroo Joondalup. It's not going to be easy, but looking at the ladder there, just 2 wins separate them, so Bayswater, be on your form, and you never know. And that's a shout out to Harrison Parker, the goalkeeper in D3 for Baysy. Now, viewers, as to what matches we're broadcasting this weekend, it is still 90% to be confirmed. we are definitely going to be at Wembley, and we may be filming the men's Division 3 match there. We're currently negotiating, or the clubs are negotiating, for us to film both D3 and D2 since the State League on Thursday night, but I'll talk about that in a moment. Alright, speaking of Division 2, let's have a look at that now as we start our wind down towards the end. We can't do it without our fabulous sponsors: ID Athletic, Vision Decor, Barner Construction, Ashby Farrell, White Arch, and this sliding screen there. I'll learn to orientate myself. And the screen there and our scoreboards, and now our ability to be out there on YouTube. A big shout out to you all. I can see the crowd growing online. Thanks for joining me tonight here in the studio, wherever you are. Our last sponsor and big supporter of recent times, Nathan, of Nathan's Event High, helping us with all our audio-visual setups as we transition into live scoring, and look forward to some updates as well ahead of the cricket season. It's all happening. Get excited. I am. Alright, Division 2 men, I'm also excited about this. Wanneroo Joondalup 15 defeating Wembley 7 last week. Ben Jones and Dylan Hoyne, along with, and you can only say this one way, Salvatore Cocci, all had 3. And I would just like to put a disclaimer in here. I was up at Wanneroo Joondalup the other week, and Salvatore was there, and we did chat, and I was given permission and told that is the only way you can pronounce it. Well, those guys all had 3 for Wanneroo Joondalup. Fraser Gill continued his strong season. He had 3 as well for Wembley, out of their 7-goal total. Subiaco had a tough day out. They went down by a little bit of a margin, shall we say. 1 goal to 13, and it was East Fremantle getting the win there. Lockie Wills with 5 goals, top scoring for the Blues, while Finn Everell, Tyler Sprunt and Tristan Jensen also had doubles for East Fremantle in that strong win over Subiaco. And Bayswater enjoying the weekend off last weekend, which means that the ladder looks like this. Wanneroo Joondalup with 9 wins and 1 loss. They are 1 game clear of Wembley, who have 8 wins and 3 losses. There is a draw in there for Wanneroo Joondalup, I should point out. East Fremantle, they sit 3rd with 6 wins and 4 losses, while Bayswater will take 4th, is what my notes say. They have 3 wins, so Bayswater, you are going to have a tough uphill battle, but you're in there. And it will be Subiaco looking forward to next season, as they will miss out on the finals this year. Unlucky Subi. Ooby dooby, let's go Subi. Ben Jones, well, what can you say? He's obviously enjoying himself down there in D2 and having a good season for Wanneroo Joondalup. He is 22 goals. Not in total, he is 22 goals clear of the next player. He has 45, while Alex McBean and Graham Duffy, the Duff Man, have 23 goals each. So 22 goals. He has doubled the next 2 players. This week, Subiaco, well, they'll sit out and probably be grateful for that. They've got the bye. Wembley taking on East Fremantle in a 2nd versus a 3rd match. Now, don't get excited, don't quote me yet because it's not confirmed. However, D2, you might be getting covered this weekend. We're just working on the fixtures and hopefully they all fall into place because our plan is to do D3 and then D2, but we will find out. This week, Wembley, as I said, taking on East Fremantle, will be out there. Whether we get to film it or not remains to be seen. While Bayswater take on Wanneroo Joondalup, and that will be a tough one for Bayswater up against the ladder leaders Joondalup there. Well, next week Subiaco will try to get their win because they'll be up against Bayswater, while Wanneroo Joondalup will take on East Fremantle, meaning Wembley will get the bye. So Wembley keen to get the win in Division 2 there. They'll at least stay second. The big question for Wembley is if they can get the win and Bayswater get the surprise win, first place up for grabs in the men's Division 2. Let's have a look at the State League now. It was another clean sweep for the visitors, with all the visiting sides getting wins in the men's State League last weekend. And if I can't get two, so I'll do them individually. 2 thumbs up to Bayswater getting the win over Phoenix in a close 4 match there. 5 goals to 4. Bayswater getting their maiden win of the season. The reward for effort. I know they've been toiling. There's talk of them being a developing side and all of that. However, they've set themselves some goals and they'll see out the season not winless. So well done there to everyone at Bayswater. But well done to Ethan Moyer. He's back in the team in black, and he had 2 for Phoenix. Well, Cade Moyer and Shane Thomason both had 1 each for the team in black. For Bayswater, Adam Sock stepped up and he had 2. Well, Tom Harris, beef Halliday. That sounds like a lovely dessert. Not sure beef for dessert actually, maybe a main. Beef Halliday and Mitchell White, all with 1 each, and my unnamed source suggests that Mitchell got the winner there. So well done Mitch, he's down there at Nationals training at the moment, so that's why Chris White's not here to tell us how it all panned out. But well done Bayswater, reward for effort, love to see it. Wanneroo Joondalup, well, I don't know, not sure what's going on up there at the moment. They're up, they're down. I describe life as a roller coaster. It seems as though Wanneroo Joondalup have taken that to heart, and their season is on a roller coaster, up and down. Wanneroo Joondalup, they were down last week by 6. Wembley 11, Wanneroo Joondalup 5. Lockie Walker, the general, with 2. Josh Polkinghorn, Jordan Gillespie and Jacob Malla, who's been back in the side for a few weeks now, all with 1. Lucas Wood had a handy 5. I like it when you do that. Thanks, Lucas. Then it was singles all the way through for Matt Wood, Braden Pantin, Charlie Clark, Lucas Coswara, Jack Cooper and Oscar Heppingstone. In the final State League match last weekend, Subiaco, they worked hard. They were up against the ladder leaders, East Fremantle, and it was always going to be a tough one, but they gave it a good crack and only went down by 2. East Fremantle 6, Subiaco 4. And I'm going to start with a cheeky smile and an apology to all of the Dugan family out there that I've been calling Duggan for the last few weeks. Your feedback has been received in the manner it was intended. I always say, let us know how to pronounce it. Let us know if we've got it wrong or right. So to the Dugan family, a big shout out to you all wherever you are across the globe. James, Tim Cheney, Louis Sarr and Richie Bingham, all with 1 each for Subiaco last week. While Mitch Kennedy and Ryan Hockey with doubles for East Fremantle, while Griffin Cook and Dan Bobo Bowater had the singles. The ladder says East Fremantle sit on top, 12 wins, 1 loss. They should take out the minor premiership. Wembley in second with 10 wins and 3 losses. Wanneroo Joondalup will be playing finals, notwithstanding their roller coaster last few weeks. They have 8 wins. Well, Subiaco will bounce back from last year's disappointment and missing out, and will be playing finals. They'll finish 4th with, well, currently on 6 wins, and Phoenix and Bayswater won't be joining them, but they both have wins. They've both worked hard and never given up, and it's been a tough season for both for different reasons. So the future is bright when you look for Bayswater, the likes of Will Frensham coming through, Clancy Buckley as well, and at Phoenix, the Moyers, you've got the Pines coming through, so hang in there. Goal scoring wise sees Cam Evangelo leading the goal scorers. He's got 41. Jordan Gillespie of Wanneroo Joondalup has 37, while Lockie Walker has 35. So that's your top 3 goal scorers in the Men's State League for 2024 as we speak. This weekend, a couple of changes. We were due to be going out to, or we'll still be going out to Floreat on Saturday. However, the Men's State League game has now moved. It will be on tomorrow night at East Fremantle, not Floreat. It will be at East Fremantle under lights at 7 o'clock, but it will not be streamed. So, if you want to see it, take a rug, take a rain jacket, take something warm, actually buy something warm from the canteen, and support East Fremantle and Wembley, because it's going to be cold, windy and wet down there tomorrow night as Wembley take on East Fremantle. Interesting decision. I'm hearing that it might be related to box player availability or something to that effect, so the team's coming together and just during the week changing that fixture up. Other matches sees Subiaco taking on Phoenix. You'd imagine Subiaco will get the win there over Phoenix just to cement their place in 4th and maybe give a little bit of payback for Phoenix knocking them out last year. But in the final match, Bayswater taking on Wanneroo Joondalup in the annual Joe Sigligeti Memorial Match. Those 2 games, or all 3 State League games I should say, will not be live streamed, so the only way to see the Men's State League this weekend in WA is to get up off the couch, get in the car or get on your bike and get on down to your local ground to see all the action from across the Lacrosse WA competition, which as always is proudly brought to you thanks to Vision Decor. And now I've learned it's on this side, Vision Decor and ID Athletic. We appreciate their support. Please support those that are helping us bring local sports to you, our fabulous global audience. Speaking of global, before we wrap the show up tonight, let's have a look over in the eastern states at what's going on, because it is all going on, and that is a fair statement. Competition in South Australia, we'll look there first. They still have 3 weeks left for both the men and women's competition, that including this weekend. However, let's have a look at last week's results, which saw for the women Woodville go down to Burnside 6-9, while Glenelg 6 lost to Brighton 9, and again 8-9, both games coming down to 1 goal there. I feel like there's some sort of lacrosse scoring gremlin out there, because the reality is there has been a number of similar tied match scorelines across our own competition, and when I saw this in South Australia I thought, what's going on here? But it's all legit, as is the ladder, which for the women in South Australia sees Brighton undefeated with 12 wins. They are followed by Glenelg, Woodville, Burnside and the North Eagles, rounding out the competition for the women in South Australia. The Eagles taking on Brighton this weekend. That is going to be a tough one. Tail of the table up against the undefeated ladder leaders. Brighton will be looking to go 13-0. Glenelg up against Burnside. That one, you'd imagine that Glenelg will go to the team on the coast. While in the men's competition, Brighton beating Burnside by a huge margin. 23 goals to 4. If only I could figure out the Lacrosse South Australia's website, I'd actually know who scored how many there. I'd give them a shout out, but that's a great performance by Brighton. Glenelg got up over Woodville by 7-12-5, while Sturt beat East Torrens Payneham 14 goals to 3. So a few lopsided matches there in the men's state league in South Australia. As I rejuvenate the vocal cords. 10 minutes max to go, viewers. Don't panic. The ladder, as I was about to say, in South Australia for the Men's State League sees Brighton on top with 11 wins, 1 loss. Glenelg just 1 win away. They sit second, followed by Woodville, Sturt. East Torrens Payneham, well, they need a couple of wins. They trail Sturt by 1, and then Burnside will round out the men's competition in South Australia. This weekend sees Burnside up against ETP, East Torrens Payneham, with an opportunity here to get a win against the cellar dwellers. But will it go that way? Not sure. We'll find out next week. Sturt up against Glenelg, and Woodville taking on Brighton. And you'd probably go with ladder positions there. Glenelg over Sturt and Brighton over Woodville in the Men's State League over there in South Australia. Big shout out to you all you Crow Eaters. Okay. In Victoria, let's just go that way for a moment and then we'll come back to WA to finish up. In Victoria, they've also got 3 weeks left, but only for the men. We'll have a look at the women in a moment. They're into their finals. Men's State League in Victoria, interesting concept. I'm not opposed to this. It's a bit like a concept that we're talking about with the cricket. They actually have, and sometimes it's been talked about with football, get to a certain point in the season, they draw a line through the top 6, in this case in Victoria, and they say, you lot will now play off in a championship series, and that's where we're at in Victoria. And it was the 2 old foes, Footscray up against Williamstown, but Williamstown too strong, the Willies getting up 18 goals to 7 there. Eltham got up by 3 over Camberwell, 17 to 14, while Malvern easily accounted for their suburb neighbours. If you're unfamiliar with Melbourne, that's my old stomping ground in the southeast there. I can actually still tell you every single train station. Caulfield was immediately followed by Malvern, and then as a kid, the way I remembered, they all spelt maths on the way in, or the acronym did anyway. Malvern accounting for Caulfield, as I said, 15-3 there. Not good if you're a Caulfield fan. Williamstown and Footscray, they both on 11 wins, despite that loss to Footscray the loss by Footscray to Williamstown last weekend. Those 2 sides both on 11 wins. Malvern with 9, followed by Camberwell 8, Eltham with 6, and Caulfield with 5. Looking to hang in there, Caulfield, but they'll need a few things to go their way. And this week, I'm not sure, but they have an opportunity. They take on Eltham, while Footscray take on Malvern. That should be a ripper there, 2v3, and Camberwell hosting Williamstown in the final match, as I scratch my nose, of the Men's State League. In the Women's State League, they are done almost. Last weekend over there in Melbourne, they had the Women's State League preliminary final, and it was Footscray getting up over Newport by 5, 11 goals to 6, and those 5 were scored by Bonnie Yu, who had a bag of 5. Well done, Bonnie, being the difference there between your side and Newport, which means that we have the Women's State League Grand Final this Sunday over there in Melbourne at the Albert Ground number 1, Williamstown up against Footscray, the two old rivals at it again, and we'll report on that match next week here on the Community Sports Show's Lacrosse WA Midweek Show with me, Noel Knowlesy Johnston, and all going well, my mate Harrison Parker here in the studio, because I suspect Chris White will still be out doing what Chris White does, which is take his kids to sports all over the place. Great parenting, Chris, love your work. And there was no sarcasm in that, it was all genuine acknowledgement. And truth be told, all the parents, I was a shall we say, less than optimal parent with regards to my kids' sporting ventures. Dragged them to football, to play when I was involved, to sit under tables or stay out the way. Encourage kids. If it's not football, if it's not lacrosse, just encourage them to get involved. Enjoy the fact that they're out there, they're being fit, they're being active, and that's what it's all about. It's also about us and the way we take local sports to you, our global audience. A big shout out to everyone that's joined us. We're trialling YouTube. It is definitely much clearer, certainly from what we're seeing here, and it is uploading in real time, which is fantastic. So we'll be sticking with YouTube. Thank you to everyone that's joined us tonight. Please help spread the word. Share our channel. I've got to get used to the fact we have a channel as well as a page. Share our channel. Get people behind us. With the biggest of smiles on my face. Before we did the Sixers last week, we were sub 100. We're now over 100 and moving up. So please help us spread the word and get the fact that we're going out via YouTube out to everyone across your clubs, and spread the word, share the link, give us a bit of love. Okay, well, where am I this weekend? What I can tell you is that we will be, and I say we because I'm expecting a little bit of help there, as always, we'll be at Floreat, home of Wembley Lacrosse Club, to see their matches against East Fremantle. But which games we do have not yet been confirmed. It may be 15s and Division 3, it may be Division 3 and Division 2, but we'll be at Wembley for sure, and keep an eye out on our Facebook page as we create an event with a link to our YouTube for that stream, or those two streams on Saturday, whichever games they might be. Sunday, well, again, I'm getting feedback. I can't be everywhere, and the reality is we try and book ourselves a few months in advance, and when fixtures aren't released or change, it makes it challenging. So we're not at the women's finals on Sunday down there at Bayswater. However, we will be up at Mundaring after getting the approval from the council today. We'll be at Mundaring Oval for their match versus Gidgee Gannup in the Hills Football Association. Looking forward to that one before we're back here next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. And if there are any ladies out there that want to come into the studio or do a phone interview or be a part of the show via phone, we would welcome you, because we'd love to do a bit of a focus on the Women's Division 2 and State League Grand Final. So, open invitation, ladies. Get in touch, reach out to us, and we can put on a Women's Lacrosse Grand Final special edition of the Midweek show next Wednesday. Next weekend, I can tell you, we are locked in. It is the Division 2 and Women's State League Grand Finals. Not this weekend, next weekend. And we'll be there for that, as well as at Bayswater next Sunday for the Men's Division 3 and State League matches as Bayswater take on Alkimos and Subiaco respectively there. That is it. I think 80 minutes of me talking is more than enough for you. Certainly it's more than enough for me. The old voice box has held up reasonably well, and it is all made possible. We do this thanks to our sponsors. ID Athletic for your sporting apparel and club merchandise needs. Just when you think you got it. Over this side now. Vision Decor and ID Athletic for your sporting apparel and club merchandise needs, and Vision Decor, curtains, blinds, awnings, and even hybrid floorings, as well as Ashby Farrell, White Arch and Barner Construction, and of course the support of Nathan Waterston of Nathan's Event Hire. I am Noel Nosey Johnston on behalf of me and the rest of the team here on the show, wherever you are across the globe. Almost forgot. One last thing. Big shout out, a special mention here. I've mentioned the Olympics are on, but let's just finish the show. We love positives, and I was always taught to give feedback in a good news sandwich. We started the top of the show with some great news about the Australian team and the Blazers presentations and all that. Let's finish it off. We are a sports show. Over there in Warwickshire, England, a big shout out to Ulster and Ragley Cricket Club for taking out the T20 competition just last weekend. And a big congratulations to Carlisle Cricket Club here in Perth. Rowan Campbell of Carlisle knocking up 200 plus in under 150 balls to break the club record there. Well done, Rowan. And congratulations, Ulster and Ragley. Wherever you are across the globe, I am Noel Nosey Johnston. Take care, stay safe. And I'm starting to learn. Be nice to yourself. But please remember, be nice to those around you too. Till Saturday, take care.